You're never going to see someone work as hard as I am at making you better. It ain't going to happen, folks. Everybody else is out there trying to figure out how they can monetize your attention because they need to make the money. They want to buy their Lamborghini. They want to be able to rent these villas. They want to be able to floss in front of you and say, look how great I am as a trader. And it's none of that shit coming from their profitable trades because they have no profitable trades. They have market replay marketing is what they have. And the things they say and the things that come out of their fucking mouth is nonsense. It edifies them through ego and pomp. It is not edifying you. It's not increasing your ability to manage yourself, which is essential. It's important to have those things. But in the beginning, you don't think that's necessary. You think it's all about, show me how to get into a trade. How can I put a very small stop loss on and not get stopped out? How can I do that every day? And you wonder why all these jokers that can sell mentorships learn this in 5 minutes, how to have 100% strike rate. That's bullshit. But suckers will buy into that all the time. Why? Because right now everything's painful. It's scary because things are so expensive. And it's going to be more expensive in 2025 and 2026 and 2027. No matter who gets in that office in the White House, we're going to have hard times. I'm not going to be immune to it. I'm going to spend more money than I'm used to spending, but the difference is I have more money to spend. You might not. You might see what happens here in the next 5 to 6 weeks, and it completely blows you out psychologically, and you can't focus because the stress is too high. And trading, you won't be able to focus on trading because you're worrying about external issues that are real tangible issues because you have a family to take care of. You have needs and ends to meet. And you're going to tell yourself, I need. No, you don't. I have to. No, you don't. No, you don't. None of you have to trade ever. None of you need the next trade to be a winner. That's just you saying that. If you never found investing or trading, you wouldn't say things like that. But because you knew the opportunity is there and you see the influence of other people saying, look at my payout. Look at my payout. Look at my payout. They're doing that because they're signaling because they need attention. They need to remind themselves. It's like a pinch for them because they can't believe they just did that. They cannot believe they just pulled that off. And that's why they're sharing it online. Someone that is come to terms with themselves, they have confidence in themselves. They are not doing, here's how much money I made. Here's how much money. Look at me. Look over here. Hey, you over there. I know you don't even trade, but stop for a second. Look what the fuck I just did. Look at that, bro. Come at me. Nobody cares that much. Nobody cares that much. But if someone will like that comment or retweet it or give you an attaboy, attagirl, that means more than what you just made in money. That means more than what you earned in your trading. Tell me how that makes fucking sense. Some of you are sitting there laughing to yourself like, yeah, that's exactly what the hell's going on when I do it. I never thought about that either. Right. Because your shit's all twisted. Your perspective's all messed up. You're not in the market to impress people. You're not here to impress people. You're not in here to entertain people. You're not in here to measure up against somebody else. You got ends to meet. And when you're making bread on the constant, when you're in here making money, putting your nose to the grind, mind your own fucking business, making money, you don't give two shits what people think. You don't care because you've been doing it. It's an everyday thing. It's another fucking Tuesday to me. Okay. It's all it is. It's another fucking Tuesday. Nothing different. It's a different paycheck, a different income increase. And I didn't have to do anything different. But you complicate the things emotionally and psychologically by inviting other people's opinion about what you did. And if you know what you're doing works, why are you posting what you made? And when someone has that, when they have that perspective on their own being, their self-worth, that is wonderful. Because no company could pay me enough to go to work for them. And that's how you should think about yourself. You're such a wonderful enterprise, such a high-end yielding income enterprise. You Incorporated. You're so fucking amazing. You're so well equipped and financially literate that you can go out there and carve your own existence out financially. You don't need to have a job. But you've been lied to since grade school that the American dream is to get a good education, get yourself a good job, buy yourself a 30-year mortgage, and you're happy. That is not what it is. Happiness is being your own person, a free person, someone that's not tethered to someone else like a slave master and says, you must perform this or you're worth nothing to me. You're useless to me unless you come to work on time. And when I call you to work, you better fucking show up. If you don't show up on time, I'm going to punish you. I'm going to dock you. I'm going to reprimand you. That's a slave master. There's no other way around that. That's exactly what that is. You are a slave. You are a slave. You're all on the same plantation. And I was on the plantation too. But I broke and ran. Every time that hammer came down and I'm doing the master's labor, selling my time for far too little money, giving up time with my own kids that I can't get back. Every other instance, I'd hit the hammer at work and then I'd hit the hammer on that chain. And over time, I weakened that chain. And when it came time for me to run and I had the opportunity to break away from that shit, I did. And I never fucking looked back. I never looked back. And I didn't give a fuck how anybody thought of how I did it. I didn't care. I had to get off that plantation. I had to get out of there. I couldn't do it anymore. And that's why I make my kids work. Because they have to have that. When they get that in their system, they can't stand it, that they're being prostituted for far too little money, being controlled and told, you must do this or you're worthless to me. Bitch, you're useless to me as an employer. You ain't paying me enough to be here. I don't care about you. I don't care about your company. I don't give a fuck about Carl. And you ain't my future. I gotta go. We're divorcing right now. Goodbye. See ya. And run down the road. Chase and pursue that future. That future that's yours. How many years have you fucking wasted at the jobs you're at right now? Think about that. Think about it. Who kept you there? The employer didn't. They're not keeping you there. You're making the decision to get up and go to work there every day you're scheduled. You're doing that. And you need to change your perspective about that because that is a vampire sucking the life out of you. It's stealing joy. It's stealing opportunity. It's stealing freedom. It's stealing success. It's holding you back. So it's far time right now for you to start thinking about what you're going to do to separate yourself from that when it's advantageous for you to do that. And the uncomfortable state of being while you're there, let it fuel you. Let that be the catalyst that keeps you going. That's the wind in your sails. That's the steam in your engine that says, it's going to be hard. It's going to take longer than I want it to. But guess what? When I finally leave, when I walk off the fucking car and I tell him, look here, you little motherfucker. You're a company man and good for you. But you can go fuck right off. I'm out of here. See ya. I told you this day was coming. Kiss my ass. Goodbye. And leave him as a company man that he is. You're not a company man. You're not a company woman. You are a corporate man, a corporate woman of You Incorporated. You're the corporate. You're the business. And you need to start minding your business like you give a fuck about it. You need to be building up You Incorporated and stop worrying about so much of what your bosses and corporations making. Because you can put out more effort, but they're never going to compensate you for that increased effort because they own you. In trading, you need to think about what you're doing. Are you taking a stupid fucking risk right now? What was the catalyst that causes you to want to take that trade right now? You're pushing the button right now based on what kind of stimuli? Is it based on the model that you're trading? Or are you basing it on somebody that said something to you? Or you read something that made you feel uncomfortable and you want to be able to show them something? Are you trying to replace something that you're experiencing in your personal life? Relationship breakup, health diminishing. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe they said you're redundant. You got to get out of here. Wonderful. That's a good thing. Because now it's got fire on your ass. You better do something. What are you going to do? Start learning how to be financially literate. It doesn't take long to learn how to replace your job. It does take a long time for you to stop thinking stupid shit and repeating stupid shit and telling yourself eventually it's going to give you a different result. I did it as a young 20-year-old. I kept telling myself the things I was doing, I was going to break it. It wasn't going to break me. And the only thing it was doing was allowing me to manifest the very thing that I thought I was avoiding, which was losing and blowing accounts. And I would blow the accounts every single time. I would go in there, try a new method, try a new concept, tinker this, tinker that, take this away, change the settings, start another book, use a different author, different methodology, blend methodologies, put pieces of this one and put it in that one. And all that shit didn't work. And I'm convinced, folks, listen to this one, ready? I'm convinced if someone external from my own person, me, the creator of Smart Money Concepts, if I saw someone else like me and I was exposed to this content at 20, before I recognized my own character flaws, before I recognized all the shit that I was doing wrong and how I thought, I would have still blown my accounts using what I'm teaching you today. Because my mind was wrong. My perspective on life, on money making, and about my own abilities and why I didn't deserve it. Because back then, I didn't think I deserved it. Deep down inside, I did not believe I deserved it. Something was broken inside of me. I came from very low income family. I came from people that did not encourage one another in my family. And I was in abusive relationships as a child, left in dangerous situations. So I had trust issues. I had every possible thing that could have happened to a child. That was what I was exposed to. So I had a very twisted perspective on everything. So I had to fix a lot of that stuff. And it wasn't an immediate fix. So even though that I know today that my concepts, my approach to reading and trading the marketplace is the highest superior form of speculation and market analysis, there's nothing higher than this, because this gets right to the market, right to the tick, why it should, why it shouldn't, when it will, when it won't. No other methodology does that type of stuff. It gives you the nuts and the bolts as to why it will, why it won't, and times it. It literally spits in the face. Everybody says you cannot time the market. You're out of your fucking mind. We do it all the time. No pun intended. But even knowing what I have now as its final form, if it was given to me at 20 years old when I first started, I would have lost money using it. Because I didn't have the right mindset about what I was doing. I was rushing to get out of the job side. And I was just using it as a lottery. If I could just make $5,000 a month, I'm quitting. And I would have quit my job with the first $5,000 net made. And then I'd be fucking scared to death because I have to now trade. When I first learned how to trade, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to time the market. I didn't know what I was looking for a setup. It was just chasing price. But when you quit your job and you don't have any money, you're not funded from your personal life, that has to be assured. You got to give yourself 24 months of living expenses, not affluent living expenses. You have to have 24 months of making your ends meet. That means you don't have to put a trade on every day. And you have to have at least 50 grand as capital. And you can disagree with that all you want. But Those that ask me, that's what I tell you. Minimum 50 grand, ideally 100 grand. 2 years in the bank, yielding interest, because you're not gonna want to dip into it, but you have it in case you do. And then you have your well-funded trading account. And if you aim for 1.5% per week, $1,500 is $1,500. It may not meet your present needs right now, but most of you probably don't even make that right now. Most of you probably don't even make $1,000 a week. And those that are in other countries don't even make $1,000 a month. So when you see the potential of using these concepts, where you're at geographically in third world nations, you would be considered affluent, making $50,000 a year. But you're trying to make $50,000 in a month because you see these people that are using 20 accounts and they're parlaying it up. But I promise you, they're scared shitless. They're stressed out. They're thinking about that shit before they go to bed, and they're thinking about it before they wake up. That's not what trading's supposed to be. That's gambling. And you Incorporated is not a casino. And many of you are treating your trading like casino, where you're just placing bets and hoping for the best. And worst case scenario, I just got to pay for resets. What the fuck is that? That's asinine. How about have one account? Have one account where you only got to worry about that one account. Grow it modestly, modularly, soundly. Build the experience without having greed attributed to it, because when you don't know how to trade well and you compound it by having 10, 15, 20 accounts, and then add to it even more that you're trading with other prop firms in addition to that, you're trying to get the maximum. If a trader's really, really well versed in trading and they have that much quote unquote capital, there should be no reason why they should be shut out of their account. Like I've had students already have happened to them. They make too much money and the fund account companies say, all right, it's time to go. Okay, pay me out. Have a good life. See you later. They should be able to do that quickly. But you see them constantly rotating through resets. And the reason why they're doing that is because they're compounding the degree of difficulty with the inherent risks. Instead of just saying, I'm going to trade with one contract. I'm going to trade with one contract, and I'm going to focus on being excellent about my trading with one contract. And then get good at that. And then what you've done is you replaced any opportunity for greed or performance fear and anxiety, living up to expectations that the social media crowd would want of you. Everybody's got to be a multi-millionaire payout now, or you're not the king of trading. You're not the GOAT of trading. Anybody, and even though you just recently saw somebody using my concepts do it, the aspects of over leveraging, anybody can do that. They can find themselves in a parlayed, over leveraged stream of trades where it just happened to yield out a very large payout. But can it be done again? Can it be replicated again? There's other prop firms out there. Can it be done again? Or one of those instances, once in a lifetime, everything fell in favor. The market was just moving so heavy-handedly, and then there you go. It just popped out like it's supposed to magically appear. I don't want my trading like that. You shouldn't want your trading like that. As much as it is nice to have $1 million, but $1 million is not that much money. You can spend $1 million real fast. In fact, I spent $1.7 million just this year. Hello. Things cost. Things cost, and you're helping other people, they cost too. And when you have a skill set that can replace that whenever you want it to be there, you can just reach out and pluck it off the money tree. Sounds scammy, doesn't it sound scammy? That someone would tell you, hey, I'm gonna give you the seeds. Okay. But your job is to plant it in fertile ground, not sand. You have to go out there and find fertile ground. And that fertile ground is you. You're the fertile ground. But if you're stony ground or sand, good seeds are not going to take root in that. That means you're going to try to do something too fast without taking roots. You're going to not water it. That means you're not going to encourage yourself with your journal. You're not going to give it sunlight. That means you're not going to allow your positive reflections to encourage you when you feel like you're not doing enough, or if you have a setback, a little drought period when there ain't no rain, no water, and it's going to feel like your progress is drying up. So you got to go back and reflect on your journal when you did it right, and that encourages you. And you make it rain again with new progress. Those things are how you're supposed to go forward and nurture yourself. And if you're able to do that and you live your life like that, not just in trading, but in all aspects of your life, you won't fall victim to life's snares. You won't look at your temporary trials and tribulations and problems, flat tires, engines blowing up in the cars, car accidents, loss of job, illnesses, setbacks, things that you didn't foresee you had to spend money on, and you have to. That's happening in everybody's life. And just because you're a good trader doesn't mean you're exempt of that. Just because you believe in a God doesn't mean that God's going to make sure none of that stuff happens to you, because those things are given to you so that way you're encouraged and you have a testimony. You can share it with other people and you can encourage them. I'm convinced that's the reason why my pathway through all this stuff was so hard, because I have a voice now. I can tell you that, yes, it's hard in the beginning. Yes, it's going to feel like you're never going to get there. Yes, no one's going to adequately support you or believe in you. They're not going to, but you have to. And there's a certain way of doing it correctly that I believe it could foster that right mindset and cultivate that mindset ongoing. But it's going to take a lot of effort for you to do it. And it's going to be easy for you to look for distractions, weekend living, chasing a significant other, thinking that you need that more than you need making money and trading. You're lonely. You've been by yourself and you want someone else in your life. And trading's interesting for a little while, but when the charts get closed, who are you nestling up with at nighttime? Who are you falling asleep in the arms of? Who are you waking up to and greeting with a smile? That's an ache for you. That's an absence and void that you're trying to fill. Maybe you're not equipped to be in that yet. And maybe this is just one catalyst that's going to propel you into a position where you're going to finally meet the right person that is best suited for you. But you wouldn't recognize them, or they wouldn't recognize your value and worth because you're not presently there.